So I'm sure you guys have seen floating around on the channel that I'm going to be putting on a masterclass for conditioning and reading habits. This masterclass is going to be happening on Wednesday, August 24th. I've had a good handful of people reach out to me asking how is this masterclass actually going to be run and how do I get involved. So really quickly, for those of you that are interested in joining the masterclass, it is going to be happening in my Discord. There'll be a link in the description down below for that. There will also be a link down below for the sign up page itself and more information. And lastly, if you are someone who watches Meta of Smash from overseas with regards to my time zone, I'm also going to be offering the entire masterclass as a private recording. So if you can't make it there live, you still have the opportunity to watch and learn. So if you are someone who is interested in getting more information, my Discord will be on the screen right now, and you can contact me at any time. And once again, I want to give a huge shout out to all of you guys for supporting the channel, leaving all these likes and comments. Honestly, it might feel really small to you guys, but it honestly helps so much with pushing the channel so that more people can see these videos. And with all that being said, let's get into the video.
I think that this has something to do with this problem that I've been running into recently. Anytime I play more than 3 matches with somebody, I don't know if it's maybe an adjustment problem or maybe I'm making the same mistakes over and over again, but I usually crush it the first match or 2, and then I'll just consistently lose. Not always by a lot, but I'll just consistently lose.
When you consistently lose, would you say that they're catching you making mistakes or they're not falling for what you were doing the first time?
Maybe so, a little bit of both.
I was gonna say, I feel like even the way that I phrased that, as I said, it's like they're almost the same thing because it's a very fine line. But what I mean by not falling for the things that you're doing the first time, let's say for example, in that first game that we played, quite a few times, if you shielded, I'd like jump over your shield or I'd land on your shield, and then you'd nair out of shield, which is fine. But if you nair out of shield, and I went like this and jumped away, and you happen to miss, you would nair away from me, then immediately go for PK fire. Right? Quite a few times you would do that. So as far as falling for something you were doing the first time, that would be one of those things. As far as me coming down and getting hit by nair, or coming down and escaping nair and then rushing in and getting hit by PK fire. If I'm not adjusting to those things, then you're probably going to win because of that. Let's say if it was the first game. In the future, if you notice that, okay, I'm jumping above you and I'm not getting hit by nair, and as soon as I come down, let's say if I have a reflector, I throw out my reflector and I hit you, or as soon as I go like this and then land, I now empty hop or short hop over top of your PK fire, and now you're getting rushed down because that same setup that you were doing is not working anymore and I'm not falling for it anymore.
Okay.
So that's a live example. Like that was actually happening last game. So for you want to try and be aware of that. And I can say from a defensive standpoint, throwing out nair to shield, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to dash back, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But what you could be doing, instead of going for PK fire and covering the ground, is you could be going for nair and then jumping away with a back air. Or you can go for nair and then just dash away. And if I happen to jump over, because I think PK fire is coming out, you could come down, like you go for nair, dash away, and you could shield. And then when I jump on you a second time, because I'm actually committing to something, then you could attack out of shield with another nair if you wanted to. Or dash out of the way and then dash attack my landing if I go like this. This kind of goes back for me with regards to skateboarding again. There's a concept called flip in, flip out in skateboarding, where you flip into a manual, then flip out of the manual. So let's say it's a 360 flip into a manual, into a kick flip, doesn't really matter as far as the moves we're choosing. But as far as for Smash, the way I think of this, as far as patterns or neutral interactions or even just poke setups, is you'll have your flip in, which let's say would be, we'll say nair is flip in, and then the movement is the reposition or the manual, and then flip out is the second part, so a back air, right? So it's this into that. That's your flip in, flip out. And within those 2 separate moves, you can switch them up however you like. So it could be, like, let's say flip in and then flip out is that. Or I could say, I don't know, flip in and then flip out is that. Or this and then this, right? It's 2 moves together. There's not a most optimal thing that you should do every single time. But if you think to yourself, like let's say even for myself, if I'm to jump at you and go like this and then jump back in with a fair, so I'm like falling up air and then like dash away, jump back in with fair, that would be a flip in, flip out. But the flip out is fair, which is not safe. So if I'm losing with that, because let's say you stay in shield because you know I'm going to go like that into this, instead I'll go like this and then I go like this instead. So my flip out would be grab. So I'm keeping the first half the same, then I'm switching up the second. So they think, oh, okay, here's the setup that I think is coming. So like say for you, we had nair to shield into dash back into PK fire. So in this situation, you just change the PK fire and you could finesse one into believing that it's coming by doing the same flip in, which in this case would be nair.
Okay, so yeah, because nair is probably my best out of shield option for medium to tall characters. I would want to do that, and then maybe throw out a fair, and then sometimes I'll dash back, throw out PK Fire, be a magnet. So just kind of switch up my flip in, flip outs.
So yeah, that's exactly it. But I want you to not fixate on Nair. This is more so that you're setting up a pattern. That's the important part. You should think that what you're trying to do, condition the opponent to see is, oh, they see Nair, they know PK Fire is coming. That's what you want them to think. So your Nair is not what's important, it's the first move in your sequence that's important. If you always did fair, then just do fair out of shield. If you always do Nair, then do Nair out of shield. It doesn't really matter what that move is, as long as it's not like something crazy like up smash, because it's just way too slow. But if you were to do, like, let's say back air out of shield, dash away, and let's say that was your setup every single time, is back air to shield, and then you dash away, and then immediately turn around with the PK Fire. If you want me to believe that PK Fire is coming, continue to do back air out of shield, but then do something else instead of PK Fire. So the fixation should not be the move, the beginning moves, as far as like saying Nair is something you have to do. Okay, hopefully that's making sense.
Yep.
You don't have to go like this and then, like, let's say PK Fire is your go-to. So if that's what you're leading with as far as conditioning me or whoever you want to condition, Nair's totally fine. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be Nair. Nair's totally fine. What you're trying to do, let's say if I was doing that double jump thing over top of you, you Nair, and I come down and let's say I throw my reflector because I'm expecting PK Fire. So the flip out in that case, to actually have you catch me, you could go Nair, dash away, my reflector comes out, you outspace it because you ran away, you don't get hit because you didn't throw a PK Fire, and you go for a dash attack to punish my reflector. Okay, so it's this, dash away.
Does your reflector have a hitbox on the way back?
No, it has a reflective hitbox on the way back, so if you throw out a late PK Fire, I can still reflect it, but you can run through my reflector.
Okay.
There's only a hitbox on the way out, as far as that'll actually hit your character. So right there, my flip in, flip out right there would have been falling up air and to then jump over to PK Fire. I wasn't guaranteed that you're going to do that, but then I went for a grab, right? Versus like dash attacking or running in on the ground and going for a grab. There it is right there, right?
Oh, like that. Yep.
This, at least this, it makes sense to me as far as trying to simplify neutral by grouping pairs of moves together like that, because you typically will have your opening move and then you'll have a panic option coverage move.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily mean that you're covering my panic option, but you're covering your own move. And I'm not saying that you're actually panicking when you're doing it, but it's more so like, okay, I'm gonna throw out my attack, and if I'm wrong, this is my setup. This is what I'm going to go for. So if they recognize, hey, I can potentially punish this, like let's say Nair or fair or something, I'm going to, like, let's say move out of the way and throw out like a dash attack by coming back in with one, or going for a PK Fire or something, right? For me, it could be side B, it could be a laser, it could be jumping back in with a fair, something like that. And those moves should always be on your mind as something that should be interchangeable. That's how you don't get stuck autopiloting to say I'm going to always Nair PK Fire, or in my case, like falling up air into dash away side B, or falling up air dash away jump back in with fair, right? I want to be aware of those things so I can always go like falling up air into nothing if I want to, or falling up air into dash away into a grab. Always try and switch up that second thing as much as you can, especially if the first move you're going for is incredibly safe. For Falco, falling up air is -5. Right? I could go for other things, like I could go for down air as well too, but falling up air, if you see this, if you're trying to recognize a pattern, and I always switch the second thing, this is how you can get someone to also be scared into shield or hesitate. Because if I go like this and you're expecting fair, now grab is wide open for me, right? I can go like this into grab, or I can go like this, and if you jump, I can go like this because you're scared of getting grabbed. Because you see this, now you're like, okay, I don't know what he does after up air because it's always different. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
That's
so
the
you're
idea.
kind of setting the precedent of what's going to happen by using the first move, and then you do something different.
Yeah.
And it kind of fakes them out.
Exactly.
Because if I'm always doing this and then PK Fire, they know that this is the symbol for this is coming.
Yeah, and this is one of the things, this is why I will say playing online actually can be useful because of something like this. Offline, of course, this still exists offline, but it's much, much stronger online, where it's like I just have these certain setups, and some of them just work, and if it doesn't work, sometimes you get screwed because you autopilot into, I'm just going to go for this, into hope for the best every single time. Let's say it's PK Fire for yourself, right? And eventually, if you get caught by doing that, it's like, okay, well, I've autopiloted this because according to the world, you can't react to anything online. That being said, there's lots of things that you can react to. I do it all the time. I'm not saying I react to like 2 frames and other crazy super small things, or like someone throwing like a jab and that's it. But as far as like, if I see someone going for, let's say, nair to shield, I can react and say, I'm going to get to a certain spot and I'm going to, let's say, short hop. And from that short hop, I can now break off and do different things. So I can empty hop and come down for a tomahawk if I see and hear the PK fire come out. Or I can go for a grab even if you shield too. So if you shield, if you go for PK fire, if I jump over it, I can get a grab. If you, let's say, dash away and you're about to, like, let's say, throw in an F smash, if I'm in the air, I can just jump away like this, or I can go like this and air dodge back if I don't see PK fire come out. There's a chance, of course, in that situation that you dash back and you shield and I go like this and I don't punish you because I thought something else was going to happen. So that situation is very hard to react to. But it's the fact that I'm not just pigeonholing myself and saying, well, if I see nair and expect PK fire, I'm just going to do the same thing every single time and hope for the best as well.
So you're going to, on a more professional level, someone's probably going to recognize this, and then they're going to try to bait it next time. Then maybe the next time they'll switch it up too.
Yep. That's layering. That's adapting and conditioning all rolled into one sentence, basically. You do something and you're proposing an idea. Now it's for me to figure it out. And if I propose to you some sort of rebuttal or what do you think of this as my other idea? If it beats your idea or beats your argument, now you have to adjust to me. And we go back and forth and back and forth. And that's what conditioning is. Or if you hear people talking about layering, that's what they're talking about.
Okay. See, I think that's where my improvement needs to come up from, and I need to find some kind of way to actively think about that during the match, because I hyper focus on what's going on, and then I don't think about what's going on in the background meta wise. I want to, and sometimes I do, but it's not so much as I'm consistently having this conversation in my head that I know I could be having.
Do you want to know the craziest thing is that once you understand this, maybe not even to the degree that I do, but like at a very high level, you'll be able to beat a lot of people very easily, because a lot of people don't get this. And they have their simple setups like this into this, and if it works, they win. If it doesn't, they straight up lose, right? It can be one thing. I've talked about this in the past as well too, where I don't have to learn all of your habits to beat you. I have to just focus in on one, and if I know how to beat that and pull it out of you, I can win because of that. To paint the picture with the nair into PK fire, let's say if I see nair is coming and I know PK fire is coming, eventually I can, let's say, jump over top, PK fire comes out, I jump over top of that, and I could actually I don't know if Falco could S smash. F smash is pretty slow. If I can get there super fast, I might be able to, but I could at least down smash or up smash every single time. Or run in, go for like an up tilt, get up tilt into back air, right? Or I can get up tilt into like a combo, something, just because of this one habit. And if we just didn't talk about it, if you continuously went for nair because you expected me to like land on you, then you missed, then you panicked, went for PK fire, and I cover it. Maybe it's in a different way, but I'm jumping over it every single time. A lot of players fall into this rut where it's like, at least for them, the reason why PK fire didn't work is because they didn't do it fast enough. And that is 100,000% not the truth. What you should have done is switch the move. And I've talked about this too. This is changing the timeline. And I hope this is making sense, because I talk about it all the time as far as changing the timeline. So it doesn't matter when you go for PK fire. It's the fact that it was never going to work because I jumped, right? If you were faster, I still would have been in the air. If you were slower, then I get down and I can shield. It's so funny that you say that, because the thing that I've been telling myself recently is I'm doing it too fast, and I'm throwing it under you, and I need to run away faster and throw it. So whether or not you do it too fast or too slow, once again, it's a move that is deliberately designed with the sound effect coming out before the move, where I can react to it. So if I hear the magical words, I can just jump. So you really don't have a choice. So instead of trying to catch you with a move that is as slow as PK fire, if I'm in the middle of something and I'm clearly messed up, then sure, punish it with that. But if I'm just waiting for it, and you know I'm going to jump because I'm expecting it, now you can just jump in fair, because I'm jumping in with nothing, and you can just jump in fair and catch me in the middle, or you can go for like a back air, right? That would be changing the timeline. It's nair into fair, or another nair, or nair into another back air or something. Going back to the idea of, like I said, flip in, flip out, right? Keep on switching out that second move, but starting the pattern in the same way.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that's the thing, is like once you do it more and more, it'll feel so obvious. I wouldn't even say, like, this is how you style in neutral, because you have so many different setups, different things in your repertoire you can pull from. It's like, okay, Nair PK Fire worked. Okay, now it's not working. I know the next thing to go to is Nair into back air. Okay, that didn't work, or it worked and now it stopped working. I can do Nair into immediate up smash because I don't have to even back up because you know that the opponent's going to jump in expecting you to run. Now they jump into an up smash instead.
Yeah.
Right? And you can just do that over and over again. And every time that you Nair, if you keep on catching me, like I said, now I'm scared. Because every time you Nair, it's like, well, is it PK Fire? Is it back air? Is it up smash? What's going to happen here? And then that's when I just start to let you do things, let you Nair, or I'll just shield and do nothing and let you escape a situation. Because I just see Nair and it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait because every time I try and jump in with something, I'm wrong. Once you understand that, that's how you can destroy a lot of players very, very simply.